All right, hello and welcome. My name is Aga here with the Candida Cleanser, and today I have a special guest with me, Anna Richter from Wisconsin. And she actually reached out to me I want to say the other day, but it was almost a month ago now, and really wanted to share her story of recovery with Lyme disease and the Candida Cleanser. And here we are on our call today. So welcome, Anna.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I'm really happy to be able to share this story with the group.
Yeah, right before we clicked record, you were saying that when you found this cleanse first, you were looking through all the success stories, and you're like, "Oh man, I wish that would be me one day." And then look.
Yeah, it's crazy to be on the other side of it now, and it is all thanks to the group and the support that the group provided and the CCWS treatment itself. And it's just really exciting to be on the other side of it now.
Yeah, so yeah, let's start at the beginning. Before you found out about the cleanse, what was life like? You mentioned you had Lyme disease and you're on a bunch of antibiotics, and those of people who are joining who don't know what that is or what the symptoms of that are, can you paint us a picture of, what was life like before?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say everything kind of started around 2009, 2010. I was 19, 20, early 20s, and I was in college, and one semester I just started neurologically feeling extremely out of it. Things started going downhill. My GPA tanked in one semester from a 4.0 to a 2.6. I was losing so much cognitive function, and really couldn't figure out what was going on. And so I apologize, my dog barked in the background here. And so it was kind of just bouncing around from doctor to doctor for quite a while, trying to figure out what exactly was going on, how to find a resolution for this. And it took 2 years of bouncing around from doctor to doctor to try and get any sort of resolution while I was constantly getting sicker and sicker. I went through a period of time where I could hardly walk for a good 6 months straight, and it was just constant pain daily. And so, I kind of, without knowing where to turn for help and not having doctors being able to point me in the right direction, I really started to self-isolate. I leaned heavily on drugs and alcohol to get through different periods of time. And then eventually I had gone into one doctor who I had thought, maybe I need to switch up my birth control. Doctors like to lead women, especially who are feeling different things towards, it's anxiety, it's your hormones, it's something of that nature. And so I'd gone into this doctor and he said, my daughter has Lyme disease and I can almost guarantee that you do too, based on what you've told me. And so I ended up getting tested, and I tested for Lyme and multiple co-infections. So from there, I had been put on antibiotics for about 1.5 to 2 years straight, of very, very heavy dose antibiotics. And as we all know, antibiotics really kick up that candida overgrowth and make things crazy. And so they ended up kind of doing more harm than good in a lot of respects. And so with the antibiotics not working, my depression and mental health got a lot worse. I started to tank. I was struggling to hold jobs because I was just going through sick days like crazy. And I remember just getting to a point one day laying in bed and thinking, on a sick day from work, thinking, I can't do this anymore and I feel like I'm dying. And at that point, I was so depressed, I didn't care if I did. It was just, I needed a way out. And so shortly after that, I had been trying to push myself to be a little bit more social, thinking a lot of it was in my head and not knowing where to turn. And so I found the partner that I've been with for over 6 years now. She's wonderful, but we experienced pregnancy loss because of all of my health issues a few years ago. And this was shortly before the pandemic hit. And it was at that point that I turned online. I joined social media for the first time around 30, a little late to the game. but you were one of the first accounts that I saw, and I could relate so much to things that you were posting about Candida and what it does to your body and your mind and your spirit. And it just, I was able to relate to it so much. And I felt like I had finally found a way out. And I sent you, I believe I had sent you a DM on Instagram, and you pointed me towards the CCWS group. And from there, my life has just gotten significantly better ever since.
That's amazing. So happy to hear that. And it's such a common thing that's happening in the world right now where people have these health conditions and they jump from doctor to antibiotic treatment to birth control, this and that, like always just poking around. And nobody really ever mentions candida. It's something most people stumble upon on their own. And
Yeah.
it's a godsend when they do, and, kudos to you to trusting something on the internet. Sometimes you see so many things, right? And you're like, ah, nah, but like, right here you are. And yeah, what was your journey like through with the cleanse?
Oh, it was amazing. There are so many hard parts of detoxing, both physically and emotionally, but I think every difficult aspect of it is 100% worth it. It really taught me um, my relationship with food and just knowing how to nourish my body, and that I'm not in a battle with my body, but I need to help it and nourish it and fuel it. And so just getting in the group and seeing all the different food recommendations and how to go about that and sensing what your body needs changed my whole perspective on what I should be eating and my relationship with my body as a whole. Um, Also, just being able to, I learned how to listen to my body for the first time, which was so huge, and just kind of being more in a symbiotic relationship and not feeling like I'm just constantly at battle with it after struggling with so many years of being sick. And so I think the entire experience just helped me transition my entire lifestyle into being healthier, both physically, mentally, just in every aspect. And it was, I did four bottles of CCWS, and I did one bottle of the parasite cleanse, and they both came with some extreme, die off days, and I guess Herxheimer reactions, as a lot of people would refer to it. And it
What were
was
those
worth.
what were those for you specifically? How did that show up for you with the die off?
Oh yeah, that's a great question. I was extremely tired. There were days where the brain fog would hit really heavy, and I would just be very, very out of it. Body aches, almost like feverish. There would be times where I knew I was killing it more as I would get more extreme oral thrush and like having it come out in different ways like that. Um, it came out, I had a lot of buildup of candida in my sinuses, especially, and mixed with some black mold exposure that I had been part of too from my past living experience. And it was a lot of like sinus issues and things just coming out of every every sinus cavity. So yeah, there were a lot of different symptoms that kind of showed along the way.
Yeah, and I really like to highlight that because so many people take on a cleanse or a pill or a diet, whatever it is, and they expect instant results, right? Like that's what pharmaceuticals really tell us, like take this pill and everything's gonna be better. But this is like take this pill, it might get really bad, you're gonna freak out. Some people think, oh no, I'm getting worse, I have to stop. But it's like there's a saying, like if you're walking and you find yourself in hell, don't stop, keep going. And especially when you've got something like, hardcore, like co-infections, like you mentioned with the Lyme, there's also co-infections, deeply seated candida. It's going to take more than one treatment, and it's not going to be a walk in the park. And like you said, it's good to know that that's just a reaction of it actually leaving the body and to reconnect with. I love how you said it, that this journey brought you back into deeper connection of how to actually listen to your body in those moments.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even after I finished that last cleanse, I thought, okay, like I still feel like I have a little bit more candida to go, but I just felt like my body needed a break. And to see how much that cleanse continues to work after you stop taking it, like it worked for me for months after that. I just continually detoxed without taking anything, and it was amazing.
Yeah, because how it works is like it tears down that exoskeleton of the fungal colony, so your own immune system can finally go in there and get at it. Because up until then, I call it's like just knocking your head on the wall, just like trying to get in but can't get in, and that's beautiful to hear that. Even though you had stopped the cleanse, it was still working. Your immune system was going in and doing that work.
Yeah, it's amazing. It makes you realize how strong your body is after you've thought of it as so weak for so long.
Yeah, or broken, and so many of these symptoms that come up, again, mainstream medical system is teaching us that we're broken and these symptoms are bad, but each symptom is actually a call out from your body of, hey, like something's going on, especially if we're not tending it. And I say like at first the body will whisper to you, and it might be like headaches, feeling a little tired or sad, pain here, and then you ignore it long enough, and we have some, diagnosable condition.
Yeah, that's so true. I love that. Just picturing it like that, where our body starts out by whispering to us and it turns into a bit of a scream after a while.
Yeah, like all these normal things like bloating or bad breath, and then we have all these things to treat that, like bad breath. Here's mouthwash. You have acid reflux. Here are Tums. You have a headache. Here's aspirin. It's like all of these things, and you're playing whack-a-mole, right? It's like no, 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 these aren't normal. Yeast infections, like especially for women, and your canestin. That's just like, oh, here your normal yeast infection once a month. It's like that's not normal, right? A
Right.
normal body is thriving, it's healthy, it's strong immune system. So yeah, learning to reconnect to the body and listen to the language that it speaks.
I remember being every morning for like several months before I had started any treatment, I was throwing up every single morning. And I realized at one point, like, oh my gosh, my tongue is getting whiter and whiter all the time. Like, I wonder if this is correlated to how I'm feeling at all. And then, doctors just being like, oh, that's normal. And in my head, I'm like, it cannot be normal to throw up every morning. It's just not, that's
Maybe if
not
you're pregnant.
right. Right. And so just learning from the cleanse then, like, of course, like the white tongue was a giveaway sign of what was going on. And, just being able to connect the dots was so empowering.
Yeah, and if you go to a traditional Chinese medicine doctor, or even for acupuncture, they check your pulse, they look at your tongue, they see the color, the ridges, the shape. That's one of the first giveaways, right? So they'll see a white tongue and go, "Oh, you're fine." It's kind of like insane.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's crazy. I feel like there's different worlds of medicine out there that sometimes just miss it.
Hmm. Hmm. And so, where are you today? How are you feeling?
Amazing. It has been the last year or so of doing this cleanse has been the most transformative year I've had in ever, probably, honestly. My mental health is significantly better. I am no longer taking anti-anxiety medicine and depression meds and popping Xanax to, get through a day. I'm completely off of any pills regarding mental health, which I have not knocking that at all. I think, whatever path fits whatever person is great. But it was really relieving and a great sign to me to be able to kind of eliminate those from my health. And then physically, I have so much energy back. I never have brain fog anymore. I'm just able to move through the day like I was when I was a teenager before I got sick. And I missed that so much. And it's just been an absolute game changer. And now with my partner, we get to plan out having a healthy baby now, hopefully soon. And so, just to be able to know that I have a better chance of not experiencing that pregnancy loss again now that I've gotten my body in such a better place it's amazing.
Mm, yes. Yeah, amazing. It's one of the disclaimers I sometimes joke around on social media with is disclaimer may cause pregnancy.
I love that. I did see in the group too, there's been quite a few people that had struggled and when they were done cleansing, they were able to get pregnant, which was just so cool.
Yeah, so improving fertility. Yeah, because everything's connected. What we don't know, what they don't teach is that Candida actually, the fungal form, releases all these toxins into the bloodstream, and it crosses the blood-brain barrier and attacks the pituitary gland. And the pituitary gland is like one of the master glands that's connected to all of them, the thyroid, the adrenals, the gonadal. And so if you've got hormonal issues, either metabolic, reproductive, or thyroid issues, hypo, adrenal burnout, inability, infertility, like that's a strong clue that something, we can go to the top, something's been messed up here. And so, yeah, when you remove that fungal infection, everything starts to normal out. So you're saying like energy started returning. So energy, digestion, skin, mood, yeah, fertility. It's like I really see this your life force returning to you. When you have a fungal infection, it's like you're slowly dying. It's like the pathogenic host that's destroying you. And I don't know if if you're into HBO shows right now, but there's a show called The Last of Us that just came out, and it's based on a video game. And my partner and his dudes love that video game, and they turned it into a movie. And the show is the first 5 minutes is so powerful. It's this guy's talking about, look, we have fungus actually has an ability to control our mind. LSD comes from ergo, it's a fungus, right? Psilocybin, mushrooms, also, it comes from a mushroom, and it's able to what's the word, impair our hallucinations and do like mind altering substances. And then we have penicillin, which is also from mushrooms. And then he talks about the cordyceps mushroom, and cordyceps can go in and take over its host, and it does it in insects. And it just hijacks their nervous system, turns them into a zombie, and explodes out of their head. This is a real cordyceps mushroom, and it's actually beneficial for humans. And he even mentions Candida in the opening thing. And the show is about a fungus that mutates to take over humans and turns them into zombies. And there's like this huge apocalypse, and there's no cure because nothing can get after fungus, because fungus is just really like invasive. And I'm watching the show with them, and I'm like, this is what Candida is. We already have this, and I've been saying this for years. Candida is the human cordyceps mushroom. It goes in there, it takes over its host, starts to attack all the immune system, so you can't get it out of the body. It attaches to the nervous system, attaches to the endocrine system, and then it just leaves you kind of like, it's not actually going to fully kill you because it's eating you. It's using your life force, and it's just keeping you alive just enough so that you can feed it, but you can't actually enjoy your own life. You have no life force for your passion or to recreate or, to live the day, like you said, to get through the day. And, I'm just looking at this, I'm like, wow, this is what Candida is, and they're making a TV show about this.
Honestly, I was thinking while you were saying that they need some CCWS in there. That's crazy.
I know, they're like, we need a vaccine, medicina. And I'm like, you guys need Lufeneron.
Right.
We can avoid all of this.
Oh my gosh, how interesting though. That is, yeah, I mean, that directly relates. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it is a mind controlling fungus, because when you're infected, we do go into lack mentality, we go into hopelessness, depression, anxiety, we lose touch with ourselves, and like you said, in our body. So the first thing to recover is getting back in touch with the body.
Yeah, it was definitely wild for me to see in this journey how much mental health and physical health correlate, and there's just no denying it. They are a complete tie to one another, and just learning how they can play off of each other was amazing to see, just eye-opening, the whole experience.
Yeah, so being through this journey now and going from doctor to doctor, treatment to treatment, finding this, do you have any advice or tips to give to somebody either who is has Candida, or somebody on their Lyme journey? Like, what worked for you?
Oh, that's a great question.
Or what?
I think for people on a Lyme journey, I think it's important to keep in mind that what works for one person might not work for another. And so if one thing doesn't work, don't give up. There are other options out there always. Lufeneron was not one that anyone had recommended to me for Lyme disease, but because of how much of a biofilm buster it is, it ended up, being exactly what my system needed to be able to kill that hard outer shell of it and get in and have my immune system fight it. And so when I had first looked into it, I didn't even consider it as a Lyme treatment. I had really only considered it for the Candida, and it ended up being the fix all for everything. And so I just think that, it's important to keep in mind on a Lyme journey that there's more than one option out there. If antibiotics don't work, keep looking. And with the cleanse, I remember sitting in the group for months before, with my bottle in hand, before I was ready to take a pill, because I was so scared of the die-off, just terrified. And then I don't know if it was someone that had posted it, or somewhere in the comments I had saw at one point someone say, "Are you more scared of staying how you are now, or are you more scared of change?" And I was like, I'm more scared of staying this way forever. I just, there hits a point where the fear of not ever trying something else and knowing that you'd be stuck in this state is a lot more terrifying than the idea of going through a hard time to eventually come out the other side. And so my advice for the CCWS is just to jump in both feet. It is worth it. It is worth every hard time. And there are so many great tips in the group to get through those die-off days. And the Zioko, I relied on heavily, and molybdenum to get through. And just leaning on the group. I have posted so many things in that group, random questions, anxieties, just kind of blurting out feelings. I'm sure if you search my name, there's a million different comments that pop up and questions, but to have that support group and know that there were other people that had gone through this, and that it's not crazy and it's not as rare as people think it is, was just everything that my soul needed to get through it.
That makes me so happy. Yes, because that was the dream of that community, is to support people. Because one of the challenging things with this cleanser on a health journey is when you feel alone, like no one can relate to you, and it makes it worse. Like you were saying that in the beginning of your Lyme journey, you isolated as turns to drugs and alcohol, and of course that's so human to turn to those things when we feel alone. And so this community was able to support you, and I'm so happy. I'm so thrilled because there's people in there that, they stay in there long after their recovery just to support the other people. And it really has turned into quite a family.
Yeah, there are so many people that I see in there now, and that I relied on heavily throughout my experience while I was cleansing, that had already completed it. And it was so good to see them still being supportive in that group. And it's just because of that closest and that family tie that the group really implements, that just, it means the world.
Mhm. Yeah, and what you said, jumping in both feet, and I often recommend that too, especially when someone thinks that their diet needs to be 100%. It's like, well, I can't get rid of the rice or the bread, so I'm not going to do the cleanse until I'm 100% on the diet. And I'm like, that's bullshit. That doesn't matter. Like, get started on the cleanse, because you're just giving it fuel source with your diet. If you can't shift your diet, that doesn't matter. Start the cleanse. Shifting your diet is going to be a lot easier when there's less of the infection in your body, because half the time those cravings are coming from the infection in your body. So it's just like, just don't wait, and make sure you have the proper die-off and, I would say, detox supports on hand. Like you mentioned, the Zioko is excellent. Probiotics, molybdenum, I think it's called molybdenum, that mineral, bone broth, chlorella, magnesium, things that get the bowels going. And, all of this gets explained when you do get the cleanse. There is an 8-part video series that guides you through step by step of diet, detox support. So know that, we've put a lot of work into trying to make this as this journey as supportive as possible through the community, through the course that guides you, the pre-cleanse prep. So know that you're supported through it all if you're watching this and considering jumping in 2 feet in.
Yeah, the pinned, I've frequently referred back to the pinned posts in the group a lot of the time to just look at different files and kind of research past questions as well that other people had asked, just to kind of get some insight. And I don't think there was ever a single time where I was looking for an answer and wasn't able to find one there. It's just, you guys have so many amazing resources available. It makes the whole thing it's seamless.
Wonderful. So good to hear. Yeah, well, so I think those are all my questions for you, unless you have any last things to share.
No, I appreciate you and all of the health coaches and admins that have put their time into this group and opened up this community. I hope you guys all know how life-changing it is and what a major catalyst you all are in so many people's lives. So I have so much gratitude and appreciation for you.
Thank you. It's so nice to hear because when you're running, I don't want to say like a business or a community, and it's just like your webcam, or you never put faces to names. It's really hard to be like hard to know if you're actually making a difference. So moments like these really re-inspire me. That's like, yes, this is why I'm alive. This moment right here is so worth everything. So
Good. Well, I'm so happy to have been a part of the group, and I really appreciate your time and everything you guys have done.
thank you. All right,
Of
so for
course.
those of you watching, depending where this video is, I imagine there will be some links to our website, to the community group, the Facebook support group, all that jazz. So just they'll be somewhere to the right, to the left, above. And yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
Perfect. Thank you so much.